For example, one of not answered question, guarantee fund, how it works, who will combine these funds, for who it's applicable. Because as I know now, it's just a local Latvian regulation, and it applies only on this case if, for example, platform goes bankruptcy, and for the money which is not invested and actually in only platform accounts.
Welcome back to another interview. Today, my guest is Arūnas Lekavičius, who is the CEO of PeerBerry. And in today's P2P talk, we'll be discussing the reasons why PeerBerry has withdrawn its application from the investment firm brokerage license in Latvia and how this platform plans to regulate a part of their business with the crowdfunding license in Lithuania. So welcome to the interview, Arūnas.
Good morning, Jakob, and good morning to all our investors who is watching.
So I've just read your latest announcement, and I got the information that PeerBerry is withdrawing from the application to obtain the investment firm brokerage license in Latvia. So why is that?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, the main reason, when we started applying for the license, we never think that we will withdraw our application. But in fact, from the beginning, it was a bit strange because this process was not easy. And all the time we saw that regulator created this regulation step by step, I would say. And we never had clear requirements in this process. And we are from Lithuania and we are Lithuanians. And in Lithuania, financial sector is really well regulated. And actually, we are for the regulated business, but we are not for a business which is regulated on the paper. So at the moment, I see that under IBF license, there are so many not answered questions. So this is the main reason why we withdraw our application.
Okay. So obviously, you guys are physically located in Lithuania, right?
Yes.
However, registered in Latvia. You're applying for the Latvian investment firm brokerage license. So why did you apply in the first place?
As you mentioned before, our company registered in Latvia. 2 years ago, this regulation was started in Latvia. We never raised such question to ourselves why. We just applied for the license and moved forward. But now we see that it's not clear requirements. We not see how it works with license in reality. And that's it.
So when you initially applied, what kind of guidance did you receive from the regulator in terms of requirements? Because it's not possible that you're applying for something which you don't know the requirements for, right?
Yeah, but as I mentioned before, this regulation was created step by step because when we started this process, we not get clear requirements at all. We just presented our business model, how it works. And after that, months after months, we received such new requirements from regulator. For example, ISIN codes, how should it work? We received only, 4 months ago. So it's a bit strange, and we not see how it works in reality at the moment, this regulation. Because, for example, one of not answered question, guarantee fund, how it works, who will combine these funds, for who it's applicable. Because as I know now, it's just a local Latvian regulation, and it applies only on this case if, for example, platform goes bankruptcy. And for the money which is not invested and actually in only platform accounts. So it's, for example, if loan originators go bankruptcy, there are no guarantee fund. So, and other many questions we have. So that's the reasons.
I am also aware that PeerBerry had to submit a monthly report to the regulator. Can you briefly just discuss what was included in that report?
Yeah, of course. It was number of the active users, number of overall users, our portfolio, how much invested, how much not invested. It's also really strange because we never received any negative comments on our submitted documents from regulator, but we also received questions, why you growing, why your platform growing, because other platforms not growing. And maybe you spent a lot of money for the marketing, and actually we are not. but regulator always complained on it that PeerBerry is growing really fast. But I would say PeerBerry growing because any of our investors didn't have any issues with our platform. And as you remember, on the first wave of COVID, when all platforms had difficulties, extended the agreements in our platforms, still a lot of people have money in recovery. We paid back to all our investors immediately, straight after request of withdrawal. And it's not secret, our portfolio decreased at 46% during 2 months, and we can easily manage approximately 14 million euros during 2 months to our investors. So we're just growing organic at the moment, but it looks like it's not. Latvian regulator doesn't like this. And we're receiving these questions.
So I think you applied for the investment from brokerage license sometimes in spring 2020. Now it's mid 2021, so it's more than 1 year
No,
ago.
Jakub, we started this process in spring of 2019. First application we submitted. Almost 2 years we in the process.
And after 2 years, you decided, okay, it's not worth to pursuing that kind of license anymore. Was it not obvious already sooner?
Yeah, we think it and sooner, but as I mentioned before, this regulation was created step by step. And we waited, we watched what's going on, how it will work. But when we understood that it not gives any of pluses to investors, I would say, we started in the spring of this year to work on crowdfunding license in Lithuania. Also in summer, we started to work with EMI license in Lithuania because this is our home market. And this is important why we started to work on a crowdfunding license in Lithuania, because we understood that it's impossible to work in Latvia with real estate projects, which we have already in our platform. And it's not covering this IBF license.
You mentioned that there are really no benefits or obvious benefits for investors who invest on platforms that have this investment from brokerage license, right? So what are the benefits?
As I know, only one platform has this license.
Yeah.
I also watched interviews, I watched information. I'm actually not get any answers which I raised to myself, first of all. And how it will work. I see only some changes that different loans now call it notes, yes, and you can invest in pool of loans, and that's it. I think really important for investors, it was guarantee fund, but as we understand, there are no such guarantee fund at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with you on the aspect that there is a lack of transparency when it comes to the requirements and benefits of this license. It really has been pushed as a marketing kind of tool for the last year. And to date, I also have not seen any clear guidance either from the regulator or for the applicants that applied for this license. Actually, I've been myself in touch with various companies, P2P platforms in Latvia, and no one could really answer important questions. So there is no doubt about that. There is no transparency here. However, you mentioned that there is really no actual benefits for the investors due to this license. So you decided to apply for the crowdfunding license in Latvia. So what are the benefits to investing on a platform that is regulated by the Central Bank of Lithuania and that has a crowdfunding license?
Yeah, actually, this model working really well in Lithuania, and there are a lot of crowdfunding platforms already, which is successfully working in European Union. Also, this license is really good because it is a supported license. We could work with this license in all Europe. Actually, what is important to us, because not only real estate projects we are planning to list on PeerBerry crowdfunding platform, but also we have some agro business from Aventus side, our main partner. Also, we're not listing real estate projects of Aventus Group, but we're growing really fast. So there are really good things which waiting us in the future. And if we look from the regulations in Lithuania side, actually, I would say that Lithuanian regulator is providing all clear information. What should be done, what is important, We checking all shareholders. We checking the equity. We checking experience in financial service. Also, we analyzing deeply business plan, all calculations, etc., etc. So not well in last place also, and share capital. So, for example, for the crowdfunding, it's not huge, 40,000 euros at the moment, share capital, but we will start with 60,000 euros. And if we talk about EMI license, there are 350,000 euros. We're planning to start with 450,000 euros.
So you mentioned some of the requirements to obtain the EMI license and the crowdfunding license. So obviously the practical benefit for the investor is that the regulator does some due diligence into the platform, right? Are there any additional benefits such as segregation of funds, maybe better risk disclosures or investor information sheets, etc.? Is there something else that the investors will benefit from?
I think overall regulation itself, when it's clear, regulation itself give benefit to the investor. But segregated accounts gives also big, let's say, advantages to our investors. So, yeah. Also, risk management of every real estate project which we will list on the platform, because should be clear requirements for every project, clear valuation of the project, clear business plan, how we sell this project, and analysis of the market pricing. So, yeah, there are a lot of benefits, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Does the regulator monitor PeerBerry on a monthly basis as well, or is it just the initial requirements to get the license and then?
On quarterly basis.
On quarterly basis.
Yes, on quarterly basis with crowdfunding license and with EMI license on monthly.
Obviously, the legal costs of PeerBerry are probably also increasing. The operational cost will increase as you get those licenses, right?
Yes, a little bit.
How are you going to cope with that?
If we talk about expenditures and how much cost to receive this license, yes. So from legal side, from all documentation side, it's not a huge amount. It's approximately 50,000 euro. We can easily cover it because PeerBerry platform is profitable business. And if we talk about this year, 2021 year, we see big growth of our profit in PeerBerry business. So it's not difficult to us to cover these costs. I want to mention that we spent much more money during these 2 years when we applying for the license in Latvia, because I can explain one thing to you. For example, when we prepared business plan, email procedures, policies, etc., a huge package of the document, we prepared it in English language. But Latvian regulator never take these documents in English language. We always must all documents translate to local language. All discussions or answers from Latvian regulator, we also receive it only in Latvian language. It's a bit strange to me. So we spend a lot of money to legal companies, to auditors companies in Latvia, because we follow it, not European guidelines of investments, finance, licensing regulations, but on Latvian regulations. So it's yeah. So costs was quite huge, and it's cheapest to apply in Lithuania for these two license.
In your announcement, I've also read that there will be some structural changes in PeerBerry, in the company, that you are relocating your company to Croatia. So can you expand on the reasons why Croatia and not Lithuania, and what's the reason behind this decision?
Our home market is Lithuania, that's for sure. But actually in Lithuania, there are no such regulation for business model on which we are working, PeerBerry working at the moment. So it means that we can't register our company in Lithuania. And in Croatia, we analyzed and other jurisdictions. But in Croatia, we presented our business model. We discussed it with all lawyers, with authorities in Croatia, and we not required of us to become Croatians, to sit in Croatia, as it was in Latvia, not work only from Latvian jurisdiction. So everything stays for our investors after relocation as it was before. We will work from Lithuania. Our team members stays the same. All processes will be the same, absolutely the same. So Croatia jurisdiction was clear for us. Everything fine with this jurisdiction. Our platforms also working in Croatia jurisdiction. And when we talked with authorities in Croatia, there are a lot of course, not the same model platforms, but there are registered approximately 20 different platforms at the moment. So we know clear these platforms and how this business is going. So that's good.
Are you going to be relocating some of your physical assets to Croatia as well, or is it just going to be an address and all the rest remains in Lithuania?
No, we will have office in Croatia. As we worked before in Latvia, we also have big accountant firm in Croatia, but local, because it's important to have local firm. We're working with one of the biggest Croatian law firm in Croatia, because it's really important to understand local law. But our team, as I mentioned, work from Lithuania office as before. Everything stays the same.
I also wanted to ask you about the EMI license. So in one of the recent blog posts, you kind of teased the investors that the EMI license is coming. What will change for the investors? Are you planning to launch individual IBAN accounts for them, or what's the plan?
Yeah, this is the plan, because we treating PeerBerry as big global company. We also starting with crowdfunding a separate business, yes. And EMI license provide us possibilities to launch and cards maybe in the future, IBAN accounts and other products. So this is just part of our new strategy of the company.
In your recent announcement, I've also read that PeerBerry is onboarding a new shareholder, Vytautas Olšauskas, who is also the shareholder of GoFingo Group. So can you explain a little bit the background of this decision?
Yeah, we know Vytautas Olšauskas, I don't know, maybe 5 years I know him. We're working with GoFingo Group, but it's really important to understand that GoFingo Group amount or exposure in PeerBerry platform quite small. It's approximately 18%. Vytautas has huge experience behind him, because it's not only a shareholder of GoFingo, but he also owns the bank in Lithuania. He member of the board in the bank. He approved by European Central Bank as shareholder of the bank. I think that it gives to us new possibilities. We're working really closely with him last 3 years. We implementing some good practice as we working in the bank and in banking sector. He was interested, I would say, last 1 year to join as shareholder of PeerBerry, because he see that this company growing. He see also new future of such business, I would say, and possibility to create a really, really good business. Yeah, and a huge business.
As an experienced investor in the P2P segment, I'm also aware that there are other companies and marketplaces where there is an overlap of shareholders between lending companies and the actual marketplace where the loans are listed. And in the community, many investors might perceive this as kind of a conflict of interest, which might have a negative impact of the marketplace. So I obviously get the benefit of bringing more experience to the table and helped further develop the platform. But there is also, of course, the risk of certain, let's say, decisions made in the favor of originators rather than investors. So how do you see this?
As I mentioned, GoFingo Group part in PeerBerry is really small, 18%, and I know that during 2 or 3 years in the future will not grow. Vytautas Olšauskas will be only a shareholder, but he's not working management of PeerBerry. So the team stays the same. He will be not, let's say, not active on daily basis and not work actively in company daily work. So from legal side also, there are no interest conflict at all. We check it, everything. So everything will be okay. That's I don't have any reason to think that it can be some interest conflicts.
So obviously you mentioned that he brings this experience from the banking sector to the table. I think PeerBerry is also planning to raise the equity to 125,000, if I'm not mistaken, right? However, I also want to ask, Igoris Trofimovas is also a majority shareholder of PeerBerry as of right now, my understanding. And I had the joy to talk to his brother Andreas Trofimovas, who is the CEO of the Aventus Group trademark. And obviously, from a legal standpoint, there is no overlap, right, of shareholders, but I mean, they're a family, right? So there is sharing of information probably happening. What does Igoris bring to the table? Because I think it has not been very clear to investors, so maybe you can share some of your opinions here.
Igor is a shareholder of PeerBerry, and he was a member of the board in Latvia jurisdiction. Legal structure a little bit different in Croatia company. So CEO and head of the PeerBerry, I will be in Croatian company. So Igor stays only shareholder and not active shareholder as and Vytautas. We will not work on daily basis with PeerBerry. We will be just shareholders. From legal perspective, the same situation as with Vytautas, there are no interest conflicts at all because we're working with huge legal companies and we're checking everything all the time.
So what is does he bring something unique to the table where PeerBerry investors can benefit from?
Yeah, he has good experience in the real estate business, also in IT business. So there are some, let's say, good experience where he can help us. Of course.
Okay. Well, thank you very much that you took the time to answer some of my questions. I think it's important to be also transparent and target important questions and provide answers to investors. I know when it comes to the regulation side of things, many platforms have not been very transparent about it. Now, we know to a certain extent why, because there has not been a lot of transparency coming from the regulators as well. I will be monitoring PeerBerry in the future as well. I will remain invested, and I hope that you will be able to announce soon that you have received the email license as well as the crowdfunding license. I see a lot of the platforms are always announcing, we have plans and plans, but then it takes forever to get something done. So I really hope that by the end of October we can get some actual news and continue, providing good services to investors and continue being transparent and supportive. So thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best, Arunas.
Thank you very much, Jakub, and thank you to all who is watching. So I think, and I know that these changes give to all investors, to all community, just good things in the future. So I'm pretty sure. So thank you for this interview and goodbye.